Hello. Welcome to Healing by Summer and Reiki by the Lake. I still use that name too, although most of my healing is using my Healing by Summer techniques. So I hope everybody is having a fantastic time. I am missing a sheet, so I'm printing out. We'll see how well it goes by the time I really need it. I spent some time with family. And I think I left the sheet I really wanted to use on the kitchen table. So, oh well. But regardless, it's going to be a fabulous night. So, we've got some new people and some of my regulars. So, welcome to both. So, tonight we will be doing a mix of individual healing and group healing like we typically do. So, the individual healing, I will be working on each person who puts something in the chat that they want to work on. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's emotional. And then for the group healing, we will do the healing pulses. And at the end, we will do aura strengthening. And so I'm hoping that all goes well. I think for a change, I don't have any technical difficulties, but maybe I shouldn't say that because, yeah, it seems fairly common to have issues. So, yes. So, in about 3 minutes, we will start with our first healing pulse, and then we will come back and we will start the individual healing, and I'll give you instructions. Yes, that is because I think you must have just come in because I told the group that I was printing something out that I typically use. I think I left my original at my family's house. I was staying in their old farmhouse for about a week. So, hanging out with my parents. They have a condo, but me and the little dogs were in their old house. And so I sort of spread out. But I thought I had grabbed everything. So, I don't know what happened unless it might be in my office here. Yes, there's a lot. So today there's a lot of energies going on. Plus, it's a full moon. And there's some really extreme energies going on too. So we'll see. So when I give instructions for the healing pulse, if you want to use it in a slightly different way, we'll talk about that. But that'll be best. And maybe some of you have some suggestions about the healing pulse. So we're going to start that in about a minute. So, but I'm hoping it's a good night. So if I don't get it printed out, because of course the sheet that I printed out is not just a sheet, it's like a booklet. But I have my positive emotion list, and then I've got a trauma energy list chart. But I find this isn't always most effective for everyone. So I usually like to use a list that can help everyone. Oh, and I even have the TV on still. That's annoying. And I didn't even know it. So welcome, welcome. So let's start with our first healing pulse. And so Bronzed has mentioned needing something to get the energy flowing and feeling stuck. And so I think that's something that the healing pulse can do or help, well, not do, help with. But let me give you the main and typical instructions for the healing pulse. The wonderful thing about the healing pulse, so it's an energy that I created. It goes to where you intend it to go. So if you have something physical going on, like you've got a tummy ache or you banged your elbow, that's where you'll want to send the energy. Now, if you've got something emotional going on, I want you to think about where does that emotion live in you? You know, are you anxious? Like when I'm anxious, it's the pit of my stomach. Are you sad? Where does sadness live in you? Or grief? Is that more of a heart thing? Or Sometimes do you feel stuck? Is that in your legs? Or is it more of a mental thing? So I want you to think, if you've got emotional things going on, think about where that lives. Now, when Braun said getting energy flowing, feels everything is stuck. So think about, how can additional energies help boost you from flowing? And here's a cool little thing that I think could be quite effective. So right now, grounding is super important. Not everybody has access to go outside and really ground deep with, bare feet on the grass. I know with me, it's getting below freezing at night, and so sometimes during the day it's still chilly. So I have not been out barefoot probably since last fall. But part of it's using your intention. And so think about, if you're going to use the healing pulse, think about your feet connecting deep into the earth soil. And I like trying to feel it. And then with this, I feel very heart connected to the earth and the sky. And so I suggest sending the energy to your heart with the intention it's going down through your feet, deep into the earth, and then imagine it coming back up through your heart and going out into the universe and back down. And so keep your hands on your heart if you're going to work on the feeling unstuck, and just imagine up and down and up and down. Okay, so is everyone ready to start? Do you know where you're going to put your hands? That's the big thing. So I want you to rub your hands and place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Imagine my hands on yours. And here's the most important part of this piece, is allowing the energy to flow, because you're getting my healing frequencies through the healing pulse plus your own. And so if you're sensitive to energies, you might feel tingles, you might feel hot. A few rare occurrences, you might feel cold. So most people feel a little something. If it's your very first healing pulse, you might not feel it the first time, but maybe the second or the third, because usually the second or third is the most powerful. Now, there are some people that don't really feel it at all, and I suggest you still go through the exercise, because there is something happening. You just don't have that sensation, and part of it's just trusting and maybe seeing if maybe there's some resistance. So just breathe in. So when I breathe in, I like to imagine the energy going down. For the people that are working on the stuckness, imagine the energy going down through your body, through your feet, deep into the earth, gathering all that wonderful energy from Mother Earth and bringing it back up through your heart, through your crown, out into the universe. And there's so many wonderful energies out there also. And then coming back. And so if you do breath work, this is a perfect time to do the breath work. I oftentimes recommend the box breath just because it's simple. So just in and out. In and out. And so with the healing pulse, it's a short little thing, but it doesn't need something really long. And so that is our first healing pulse. Let me just see if everything printed out. Otherwise, we're going to have to use what I have and try and get up without squishing Duncan. Duncan, my little sidekick, is right here. Oh, I think the whole thing printed. Wow, and it even printed double-sided too. Okay, let me just staple it. And we can get started. So you can start putting in chat. All right, Duncan, I don't want to sit on you. Move over, Duncan. Let's see if he's going to move. No, I think he's going to just trust me not to squish him. Oh, Duncan, I'm sitting on you. He doesn't seem to mind. Okay. All right. So let's start. Let me just get a little organized. So I've got my list. So it's quite a big list. This is from a healer who I actually had a session with, and he has his own systems and some other regular system. And so he put everything in this little booklet, and he lets people have a copy, which is fabulous. So let me just, I think I just got my pen. And so I just need to go through. So if you're new and have any questions, and if you just want to watch for a bit, that's fine too. I'm just going to go up to the top and just double check. Would you believe today is show number 191? So if Mona's still here, I hope she is. Put something in the comments you want to work on, or just watch and observe until you're comfortable. Oh, getting some good news. So tug of light. Everything we worked on the right side issues are all good. Love, love, love that. And Beth is saying, I hope everyone's doing well. And there's Angel Knight. Ooh, Colette's got some pollen allergies. You are probably not the only one. I am blessed to not have to deal with allergies most of the time. So Colette's first on the list for allergies. Ooh, sinus. Ugh. Has anybody tried local honey for that? Just because with the honey, it helps with the local honey. Is the bees tend to collect pollen from a lot of those plants that cause the allergies. Ooh, and there's Julie. Welcome, Julie. I hope you hang out and have some healing. And if you feel comfortable, jump in and put a request in. The individual healing, I work on releasing trapped emotions, sort of similar to the Emotion Code book by Dr. Bradley Nelson. So with this, if anybody watched Honey Golden's Q&A last week, somebody asked a question about how effective she thought the Emotion Code was. And Honey said it didn't go deep enough. And I totally agree. And that's why I have sort of tweaked the Emotion Code to be better. And also in my private sessions, I would never do a whole appointment using the Emotion Code. It's not effective for just that. Now, like for tonight, it's probably not, well, it's definitely not as effective as a full hour and 15-minute session like my traditional ones are, but it can start the healing. And I do a few other things during our session that make it better. So let's see. Gonna keep going. All right, so Bronze God, I think I'm going to put you on the list too, just to see if there's anything else that's personally caused you to feel stuck. And so, as I said, I focus on trapped emotions and releasing emotional trauma, which a lot of the time it's just a piece of things because there are layers, but sometimes even releasing a piece of the layers helps. Okay, so let's see what Tug of Light has. assistant's left shoulder in the front. In front. Popped up about a month ago. I've been working on figuring out what emotions to clear, but still bother me. So tug, I think that's a great thing to work on. I'm glad, part of this, because I love teaching people, is part of doing this is I'm hoping that you can learn and do some work to help yourself. Although I do know self-healing is one of the hardest things, because sometimes, we all have our own stuff to deal with, and sometimes we're a little too biased when it comes to ourselves. Okay, so harmonious. Remove anything blocking manifestations. I like that, harmonious. Blocking manifestation so they can flow. All right. So Colette says my video is lagging, possibly due to the printer, maybe. So hopefully that has fixed itself because the printer's done. Okay, so in Vatha, I did a lot towards opening my own healing practice. And now I want to have those that can benefit from my gifts to find me easily. Wonderful. Okay, so in Vatha. So let's see. Let's remove blocks to, there's a few different things. So I want to remove, we'll see which one is most appropriate. Blocks to the right people finding you. And any blocks to visibility. Okay, and the neck. For pain, sorry. All right, so almost there, I think. Okay. Oh, good, Mona, you're still here. Wonderful. So, Mona, I'm going to put you on the list for legs and hip. So when you have two areas, I see if it's related to the same issue or if we need to focus on one, and then I pick which one is best. So Tug commented, I've been rewatching past lives to absorb those healing pulses. So here's a little tip too. If you sign up for my free newsletter, which I'm really totally bad about doing it, but when you sign up for the free newsletter, and it's in the description on YouTube or Facebook, there is a link to the newsletter. And when you do that, you get a video that has 3 healing pulses in a row. And I've sort of tried to tweak it because it's my newsletters through MailChimp. And MailChimp has sort of limited some of the things it used to allow. So it says it will send you a link, but usually you need to catch the link on the screen. So if you sign up and you miss the link for that video with the healing pulses, because sometimes it's just nice to have 3 in a row, boom, boom, boom. Or if you go back to my really early YouTube, I used to have people at the end of the show, I would say, so if anyone wants a healing pulse to go, here's a little baggie with a week's work. And so that still goes. It's just, it seemed like people sort of lost interest in that, but you can still access the healing pulse energies if you need them. So let's see. Okay, Marie Claire, insight on fatigue for the last couple of years. All right. Couple of years. Came on suddenly, comes and goes, but hasn't gone away. I can relate to that. That's one of my issues, that sometimes I do really good and sometimes I don't. Although I think one of my issues is I had Lyme's disease before it was called Lyme's disease. And a friend of mine has that. But she says with her Lyme's disease treatment, the exhaustion comes and goes. It's like the illness doesn't ever fully go away. All right, Angel Night. Let's see, sluggishness. Okay. Angel's dad, Paul. Heart chakra. Okay, I think I'm getting there. Jeffrey's tired too. Okay. So with this, what I'll do is I'll find the trapped emotion theme. I'll find an age that usually there's an event that corresponds. Oh, and there's Amy. Nice to see you, Amy. Out of balance. Oh, and there's Jenny. Motivation. That is an excellent one. And there's Raleigh. I think Raleigh's new, so welcome. If you want to jump in and note what you want to work on. Oh, and Fatha says, I saw that show with Honey that I talked about. Yeah, and that's the thing with healing. You know, not everything works for everyone. It's just like traditional medicine. Some things work well, some things don't. And part of it is finding what works for you. And that's the same thing with healers. You know, I find with my clients or even with me, I work with someone for a while and then I feel like I've moved on and I'm looking for like the next level. Okay, Angel Night, I'll add Jeffrey throat stuff and see what comes up most. Okay, I'm almost at the bottom. Okay, Raleigh, right side, neck to shoulder, and right ear. So I'm going to do 2 more healing pulses, Raleigh, so make sure you hang out for those because I'm hoping those will help. All right. All right, so bronze god, I will note sacral, but I'm going to focus on what is most important to work on. Okay. And usually I don't really focus on location. I focus on emotional trauma. All right. I think I got everyone. So let me tell you who's on my list because sometimes I miss things and it's never deliberate. So I've got Colette, Bronze God, Tug of Light, Harmonious and Fatha, Nick, Mona, Marie Claire, Angel Knight, Paul, Jeffrey, Amy, Jenny, Rose Petal, and Raleigh. So if I missed you, please note yourself in the comments and we'll get started. What time is it? So I'm going to do the first 3 and then we'll do our second healing pulse. And then we'll keep going until we get through the list. And then usually at the end, I do something called aura strengthening. And that's sort of a nice thing because it helps with your aura. And I've added this new thing a few months ago that also helps focus on the positive too. And so, where'd my... Okay, here's my list. So one of the things that I do a little differently than the emotion code, and I have the book out here. If you like healing and reading about it, this is a pretty decent book. He gives a lot of good healing examples. He has a whole chapter on muscle testing. There is a emotion code chart that's got like 60 different emotions, and then he tells you how to release, although he talks about using a magnet. And I think most people who are using energy nowadays, the magnet will actually limit you. But if you feel you need it, a kitchen magnet works. So, but an excellent book to learn the basics about releasing trapped emotions. But as I said earlier, this doesn't go as deep as it can. And that's okay because this is just a basic tool. So let's see. So I've got my positive emotion. So how I do this now is I am releasing and removing a trapped emotion, but I also like your help with it because I have found it used to be that I would just go ahead and release trapped emotions on my own, but I've realized through the years that there are residual energies, sort of like a film that stays. But if you assist, a lot of it goes so much better. All right, so I've got one more to write down. So, Shelly. All right, so Shelly, I'm putting you on my list. Just know that you are last. Chronic pain, lower lumbar spine. And so I think stick around, Shelly, because I will get you, but it's going to take me a little bit. But we're going to do a pulse, and you should see if that helps you. Lower lumbar. And so what I do is I find the trapped emotion, which is usually has a theme or an event, and then I find the age of when it happened, and then we're going to replace that energy, that void that we created, with a positive. And so it takes me a little bit, but I think it's sort of cool. All right, so Colette goes first, and then we've got Bronzed and Tug of Light. So Colette is having some issues with allergies and some sinus issues. So I'm going to see if we need to separate that or what, or if we can deal with it as a group. Nope, we're going to deal with the whole thing. So it's all related, the allergies and the sinus issues, and that makes sense, but sometimes it's a separate issue. So let's see. And so with this, some of this I do through muscle testing, sort of the linking and figuring things out. Sometimes I do that more intuitively, but the muscle testing, I'm definitely quicker at it than pondering things. So let's just see. All right, so Colette, I'm getting around age 21. Now, ages are the hardest thing. So usually I'm pretty good within a year. So when I say 21, I mean 20, 21, 22 approximately. I'm just finding your positive. Okay, so we're going to release deprived around age 21. And so if you've got healing in your background, assist me in releasing. Oh, sorry. Dexter is a little crabby. He thinks Duncan's going to step on him because Dexter is under a blanket because he's cold. So it's a little distracting. It sounds like a dog fight in the background. Both of you, just sit down. There you go. Come here, Duncan. All right, so here's little Duncan. Yes, you can just chill. So with Colette, we're going to release deprived. Now, if you don't have healing in your background, something just as effective is a prayer, a wish, a hope. And so basically you just put out to the universe or to God or whoever you pray to, I want to release the energy of deprived, and just focus on it. And so we're going to release that, but then we're also going to fill up that void we created, and the void is going to be filled for Colette with the energy of being vital. And isn't that cool? Because we're taking away deprived and we're replacing it with vital. And that just sounds really powerful. So I'm going to tune in and just release deprived. And so Colette, if you would do that too. And then we're going to instill vital. Nice. And I like the timing of things, because when you release and then you put back in, usually it slips back in pretty easily. All right. So Bronze God is next. So Bronze God, energies and feelings of being stuck, wanting energy flowing, issues, especially the sacral area. So let's see what we're going to focus on. Oh, we're going to focus with the sacral area. So that would make sense if things can't flow back and forth, and it's sort of blocked right there. So let's see what comes up for you, Bronzed. Okay, so I've got my emotion. Let me just get an age and the positive. Oh, I already know I like your positive. It's wonderful. All right, so the energy I'm getting is, and the event is being demeaned, and the age is like 12. So like 11, 12, 13. Now, when you think about that age, kids can be pretty nasty. And so did something happen when you were, preteen? Were you teased and demeaned? So we need to focus on releasing that. And then we're going to fill it up with the energy of being exceptional. And so let's go ahead and release demeaned. Okay, so releasing demeaned. And then we're placing in the energy of being exceptional. I like that one too. That's a good, take out something really low level and put something really high level in. That is fabulous. Okay, so we're going to do Tug of Light next, and then we'll do our next Healing Pulse. And then when we come back, we're going to do Harmonious and Vatha and Nick. So Tug of Light has issues, left shoulder, sort of in the front. So let's see. I'm hoping that the Healing Pulse is helping with Tug of Light. Now, if you're doing the same place for the Healing Pulse, so because Tug's got left front shoulder, sometimes with the Healing Pulse, the discomfort or the pain will shift and move. And so adjust your hand positions to follow that pain, because it's just something with pain. Sometimes it moves. And when it moves, I always think that's a really good sign, because it means we're able to manipulate it. All right, so Tug of Light, let's see. So I'm getting there's an underlying reason for that pain in your shoulder. Just get on the right page. All right, so I've got my trapped emotion. I just need a positive one. Okay, almost. I just need an age. All right, so Tug, this is one from when you were a little kid. Troubled. So that's a little vague. And you were about 7, so 6, 7, 8. Just know sometimes when you're that young, sometimes the issues aren't yours, but are from someone around you. So a lot of times it's family, but it could have been like school or, your close, little friendships. And so age 7, so 6, 7, 8, something was troubling. And so we're going to replace that energy with thoughtful. And I think clearing that and being thoughtful about it will bring out deeper healing. So let's go ahead and release troubled, Tug of Light. And then we're going to instill within you that energy about thoughtful. And I really think especially that thoughtfulness will help you bring even deeper healing about. Okay, so we are going to do our next healing pulse. So for those of you who weren't here for the first healing pulse, what I want you to do is think about where you would like to receive healing, especially those of you who have physical things going on, like Tug. I would expect your hands left shoulder in front. Nick, wherever you've got pain. Mona, if you could do like the worst part of your legs and hip pain. Marie Claire, where do you feel the fatigue? I know for me, I get so fatigued sometimes it's like a nausea that I feel in my gut. Paul, heart. Jeffrey, probably throat. Rose, like your hip. So let's go ahead and I want you to rub your hands together and place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Imagine my hands on yours, and you're allowing the energy to flow. So just be open, breathe that energy in, breathe that energy out. In and out. Okay, that was our second healing pulse. And I did get just now, some of you, brain balancing would really help. That's something I used to do in sessions like once a month on here. Back when during COVID, I used to do this every week. And so once a month, we would do brain balancing. And so that helps with balancing in many different ways. And Amy had talked about being out of balance. So this helps balance the body, balance your thoughts, balance your energies. Because a lot of times that left, right brain hemispheres become not the neural pathways sometimes get blocked or a little kinked. And so getting the energy to flow through can really help. All right, so we've got Harmonious, Empatha, and Nick. All right, so Harmonious wants to work on removing whatever's blocking manifestation so they can close that, or excuse me, so they can flow. So, and also let me know how that healing pulse went. Did you notice tingly? Did you notice anything going on where you were receiving the energy? And some people mainly feel tingling in their hands, but some people feel more. So let's see what comes up for Harmonious. And let me know if you have any questions. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. Oh, Harmonious used it on the dog. Duncan loves energy. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. I'm probably going to sneeze again because I can't just sneeze once. Okay. All right. So with Harmonious, usually with this list, I don't get inherited trapped emotions, but this time I do for you, Harmonious. Let me see what it is, if it's inherited or if it's past life. It's inherited. So bloodline. And it's a basic emotional energy of unhappiness. So this is passed down through your family bloodline. Let me just see where it came from. So I'm going to check with your parents, your mother's or father's side. So dad's side. So I'm going to check, did it start with dad? No. So did it start with dad's parents? So your grandparents? Yes. Is it grandma? No, grandpa. So dad's dad. So Harmonious, when you think about your father's side of the family, is there at least some of the members that are unhappy? Because they've come by it honestly. So something happened with your grandpa. Let me see how old he was when this happened. Oh, he was little. He was like 4. All right, so let's release this, because if it was your grandpa, so any children that he would have had have the potential to have this. It can affect a lot of people in the family, bloodline family, but it doesn't always affect everyone. So we're going to release and remove the energy of unhappiness through your lineage. Yes, sneeze are good releases. So thank you, thank you. Okay, so releasing that. And the interesting thing is your positive emotion, Harmonious, is united, which makes me wonder, did the happiness sort of keep your family a little separate? And so instilling the energy of being united I wonder if that will just make you, all of you, feel more whole, just because that unhappiness sort of has a tendency to like eat a hole within your soul. So, Harmonious just confirmed that some are unhappy. There's a piece of that that's affecting you, and just not really knowing you, but watching your questions the last few months. I think you've been chipping away at this. So you're not really affected, but there's still a piece of it. So that's why we're going to just go ahead and release it and just fill it up with that being whole and united. All right. So I'm hoping that helps you. So Empatha, she is starting a new healing business. So Empatha, if you have a website or if you're going to do like just something basic like on TikTok or Facebook or whatever, you can let us know because you can put that in the comments. So let's just see overall there anything that we can release that might hinder her successful business. No. What about the right people finding her? Is there anything that we can release about that? No. What about being visible? Are there blocks to that? Yes. Okay, so Beth, we're going to work on releasing blocks to your visibility. And I know sometimes, there's a lot of turmoil going around and a lot of judgments. And so I want people, the right people, to find you because you are visible. So let's see. So I'm going to find a negative that is playing a role in this block. Let's see what that is. Oh, it's the energy of mocked. That does sort of make sense if visibility is an issue. Let me get an age for this Empatha. Okay, like you were 9. So 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. Let me just see though, because you know what I said before is sometimes when you're a little kid, it's not always yours, but the people around you. So let's see, was this yours? This was yours. So I wonder if were you teased when you were a little kid? That's awful. So let me just find this positive. Oh, there's Miriam. Welcome, Miriam. Oh, I like your word, Beth. Okay, so we're going to release mocked around age 9 for Empatha. Well, I'm glad this came up because with starting a new business, you want to be visible and not have any fear about putting yourself out there. So focus on releasing and removing mocked. So we're releasing that. But now we're replacing and filling up that void with the energy of flowing. And can you just imagine that it opening up and allowing people to find you and for you to be seen by people that need your services? I like that. All right, Miriam, I'm writing down moles, dark spots, abdomen. Okay. All right, so we've got Nick, Mona, and Marie Claire next. You are very welcome. And Fatha, let's see. So Nick, pain, he pulled an adhesion. So I'm hoping that the healing pulses are helping. Let's see what time it is. So we're going to do another few minutes and we'll do our third healing pulse. So, and while I'm checking this out, I am going to do a second show this month, May 17th, which is a Sunday at the same time, 7 Central, so 8 Eastern, 8 Mountain, or no, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, so same channels. And I'm going to have an announcement because I'm going to put together, I've realized that a lot of people don't understand what my healing sessions are about because they think it's sort of like a mini session or it's all about Reiki, but it's not. And so I'm going to do put together information because I want to give away some half an hour sessions where we will work on 1 to 2 issues. We'll use all my tools depending on what comes up. And it's going to be recorded on Zoom so that I could share on Facebook or YouTube. And so if you enter the drawing, you just need to be open to being recorded. Okay, so let's see, Nick. So right now I'm sort of just putting my thoughts together on it, so I'll have more information about that during our next show. Okay, so I've got another youthful one. It's funny, sometimes some shows have a lot of issues at the same ages. Okay, so with Nick, I'm getting the energy of being undisciplined. However, this is from when you were 10. And so, I mean, what 10-year-old is disciplined? So, as I said earlier, a lot of times these youthful trapped emotions are not yours, but people around you. I have a feeling you're going to tell me who this is, and I sort of know who this is. But that person around you who was undisciplined, that really affected you. And it was super hard. But what we're going to instill within you to fill up that void is just sort of a tolerance. And part of that is being an adult now and knowing sometimes being an adult is not easy. And so thinking back and understanding that we all have our issues. So we're going to release and remove undisciplined. And this will be good for you, Nick, because this will help you be less sensitive to that undisciplined feeling. And then we're going to instill within you just more of a sense of tolerance and peace. Okay, next, Mona. Mona's got issues, legs and hip wrists and also lower hip area. So let's see what comes up for Mona. Oh, and Tug. Let's see. So Tug, we had troubled around age 7. She wrote back, we were probably moving states, went from a cute private church school to isolated homeschooling since mom suffers from manic depression and bipolar. You name it, she got it. Oh, and you were 7? Wow. And then being isolated? I'm so sorry. Very, very sad. I'm glad you got through it to the other side and are working on healing those energies. And Nick, you're very welcome. So Mona, I'm going to see if we need to focus on one or the other. We are. We're going to focus on the lower hip. And then let's see what comes up. So I'm getting the energy of misunderstood. Let me get an age for you, Mona. Oh, I like this one for you, Mona. All right, so I'm getting the energy of misunderstood, and you were around 13. So 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there. That's a tough age because sometimes as a kid, you have interests and thoughts and feelings that other people don't understand. You know, other people meaning your peers, or maybe it was your family. So let's work on releasing this. And then releasing that, we are also going to fill you up with faith, because part of the energy of being misunderstood took away your faith, and allowing people to know you. So let's instill faith within you so you have that basic belief that you're okay. All right, Marie Claire. So we're going to do Marie Claire, and then we come back, we're going to do Angel Knight, Paul, and Jeffrey. So Marie Claire has had fatigue quite badly the last couple of years. So let's see what is playing a role with that. And I'm just going to see if I missed anybody. Oh, and Miriam commented on my sessions. Thank you. And Tug Blight talks about homeschooling her kids, but it's totally different. I imagine your homeschool experience that you give your kids is totally opposite of what you've had. And I imagine your kids really enjoy it with you. Okay, Marie Claire, I just need an age and then a positive. So Marie Claire, I'm getting this is around 22. So 21, 22, 23, somewhere in there. And it's the energy of being embroiled. And so when I think of that word, I think of trauma. I think of things that are just long, involved, and complicated, like really serious health issues or like a trial. You're sort of embroiled and enmeshed in like court proceedings or like embroiled and enmeshed in like healthcare. And maybe it was you, maybe it was someone else. But that's sort of an example of that energy of just sort of it's all around you. And so with that, we're going to release that. And then we're going to replace it with the energy of satisfied. And when I feel that, it's like there's just this sense of relief and more peace. So help me release that embroiled energy within you because you were not very old. You were like 22. You're supposed to be enjoying the best of your life then. So releasing that, and then we're going to put in that energy of just being satisfied. And I just feel that your shoulders are so bogged down, but now they're able to be lighter. Ooh, so Marie Claire says bad marriage. Wow, yes. I'm so sorry. Oh, yeah, toxic. I'm so sorry. So get rid of those energies and those feelings if you can. So this will help with a piece of it, but you might need more assistance. Sometimes more releasing emotional trauma, sometimes through a person like me, sometimes through a counselor. Okay. Angel Night, sluggishness. And then I did say we were going to do a healing pulse. We'll do Angel Night and then we're going to do a healing pulse. So Angel Night's got sluggishness. Getting the energy of nervous. Let me get an age for your angel. All right, so I'm getting nervous around 18. So 17, 18, 19. And so we're going to release that. And then we're going to instill within you trust because part of the nervousness is the lack of trust and just the unknown. So let's release nervous. And then we're going to instill within you trust. Oh, and then I missed Mona commented because I had said age 13 misunderstood. And she came back and said 13, 14 ages were very difficult. Good. Thank you for that feedback. Very helpful for me. All right, let's do our last healing pulse. So with this, especially if you've done 3 healing pulses, think about, are you going to adjust your hands? If so, are you going to place them slightly different? Or are you going to place them somewhere totally new? Somewhere I like just doing my head, third eye, or sometimes I like doing my heart. But think about where you want to send and receive, because you are sending too. All right, so rub hands together and place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. And then just allow the energy to flow. Just breathe in and breathe out. So you're breathing in the healing And then the breathing out and the releasing is letting go. And sometimes you're letting go of things that maybe aren't even yours. So breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay, that was our third healing pulse. Let me know how you did. So when you think about from the very beginning of the healing pulses to the end, are you noticing a difference? And sometimes you need to get up and walk a little, especially if it's an issue that's, related to pain or discomfort, or sometimes things are just tight. And with this, things feel looser and more flowy, if that's a word. So next I've got Paul, Jeffrey, and Amy. Almost there for Paul. Okay. So Paul, I'm getting demoralized around age 44. So 43, 44, 45. So tough times. It really brought you down. But the positive, we're going to bring you the energy of forceful. And with this, I can see the demoralized just bringing down your energy, but the forceful sort of pumping you up. So let's go ahead and get rid of demoralized. And the forceful, when you think about instilling it, I think instill it in your heart. I like that. All right, Jeffrey is next. So we've got Jeffrey feels tired, but he's also got some throat issues. So I'm just double checking to see. Marie Claire says thank you. Lymphatha says more relaxed. Mona Smith feeling lighter. Rose Petal. Ooh, felt something release from my right hip. Very cool. Ooh, and here's Lymphatha's intentional energetic design, clearing and connecting to your home and supporting the environment. And so, Lymphatha, do you have a website or a link? Or if you want to share that with me, I can put it on Facebook for you. But feel free to put it in the comments if you've got something. So it's pretty cool. That's exciting. So I recently found out, because I was not in my home for a week, and that was really rare. So when I came back, I felt my energy just really sucked out. And I've had my home scanned, and my friend dowsed and put little copper rods. So I've been told my energy in my home is pretty good. But then my friend's like, I'm getting you've got portals in your house. And she was right, because the moment I knew, the energy shifted, and then we closed the portals. So if you don't know someone that does that, look for Lymphatha. intentional energetic design, it can really help you. So that's exciting. Ooh, and Shelly says feeling warm and tingly. So very cool. All right, so Jeffrey, let's see what we're going to focus on. All right, Jeffrey, I'm getting we should focus on your throat today, Jeffrey. Let's see why. Getting the energy of contradictory. I wonder what that could be. Angel Knight, you might have to help with this. Okay, so I'm getting contradictory around age 9. So 8, 9, 10. So here we go again with energies that oftentimes when you're real young maybe aren't yours. And especially what 9-year-old has contradictory energies? So I'm thinking this is probably family or a teacher who gave contradictory information. You know that saying, do as I say, not as I do? So that sort of fits there, where or they're saying something and then later they say the opposite. So let's release that. And so with that, especially at 9, when someone around you does this and you have that as a trapped emotion, sometimes it's hard to make sense of things. And so we're going to instill you this sense of being sensible, because with the contradictory information that you had and you felt, sometimes things just didn't make sense and you questioned it. So we're going to release that contradictory energies and we're going to instill that sense of sensibility. And I think it'll give you some peace too. Okay, and I just mentioned having portals in my house, and Empatha just says she closed at one at her house too. Very good. Oh, and Tug of Light has a comment about, because Tug of Light, left shoulder in the front. Feels much better, less painful when I lift and turn arm. Really helps to have health. Well, of course. I'm so glad you're here. So glad all of you are here. Pretty cool. All right, so we've got Amy, Jenny, and Rose Petal next. So let's see. Amy feels out of balance. So let's see what comes up with that for Amy. Okay, Amy. I'm getting argumentative around age 28. So 27, 28, 29. And so with this, I just want to check and see. This wasn't really you. but really affected you. And so you have this trapped emotion that sometimes makes you feel the anger and the arguments. And it makes you more sort of locked down into that argument. And so we're going to take that energy out and we're going to replace it with the flexibility, because this sort of took away your choice. So we're going to release and remove argumentative. And then we're going to replace it with being flexible. Oh, and Angel Knight said thank you. Oh, and Mona says, glad you found me. I am always here on the first of every month and sometimes more. So Angel Knight's asking about if the next show I can do good luck, bad luck button, and I will. Oh, and here's Tug of Light. Oh, this is sort of cool. Yeah, I was watching Honey and Richard today. He is such a kick. I like it when he calls Honey Bunny. That's sort of funny. Honey and Richard said, I had a vortex under my house. It's more common than we know. So dealing with our own stuff to then have an entity airport bubbling up daily. Honey says, I closed it. Well, and part of it is the awareness and knowing. So good job on that. But if any of you have troubles, reach out to Mbatha. And if you need your contact information, let me know. All right. Okay, Jenny is next. Jenny is looking for blocks to her motivation and increasing motivation. So let's see, because I'm getting there's something blocking her from being as motivated as she could be. So let's see what that is. Okay, so I've got my energy. I just need an age in the positive. All right, Jenny, I'm getting this is from around when you were 19. So 18, 19, 20, you were derided. And so it's sort of like a personal attack where you had to defend yourself. It was sort of awful and really intense. So we're going to take away that energy where you just had to defend yourself in such a way that it wasn't really you. And so we're going to instill with you this composed and calm person, because that's who you naturally are. This being derided and then it being a trapped emotion sort of took away that. So let's release and remove you being derided and attacked. And then we're going to instill with you that sense of being composed and calm. Okay, Rose Petal is next. Although, you just said something. Let me just find what you said, because I think you felt something release on your right hip. So that is pretty cool. All right, so Angel Knight has a question. How do we know if we have a portal? And so she lives in a building that used to be an old creamery in Mbatha. So if you have trouble reaching each other, let me know. Then let's see. Oh, and then Tug of Light and Fatha, your services are really important and more will want your help. Yes, it's very important. Okay, so you guys are just too distracting. It's just fun to read your comments. Oh, and Jenny says, thank you. You're very welcome. All right, so it's Rose Petal. I'm going to check and see because, did I write this down? Hip and liver. So let me just see. Sometimes my handwriting could use some improvements. I'm just checking to see. Oh, so it was right hip and liver. I was right. Okay, so let's see. So Rose Petal, we're going to work on your liver. So let's see what comes up. Although, let me fix my little comment so I can see on my screen. Oh, right foot too. Let me just check. No, we're going to stick with your liver, Rose Petal. Let's see. Almost there. Just got to get the positive. All right, so Rose Petal, I'm getting the energy and the trapped emotion being awkward around 21. And so sometimes awkward is more of a physical awkward. Sometimes it's more of a awkward just as far as social communication type skills. So because especially at 21, sometimes we're just growing into how we're going to be as adults. So let's just see. So we're going to release that. And then we're going to instill within you understanding. Because I think you look back at yourself and feel a little hard on yourself. And I want you to increase the understanding because you are exactly how you were supposed to be. So let's release that energy of awkward. And I could just see you being just a precious young 20-something-year-old. And then we're going to instill understanding. I think this group is great too. Yes. So, and if you guys weren't here, we're going to do a second show this month, May 17th. So it's a Sunday night. And I have a little announcement because I'm trying to put together a video where I record on Zoom for other people to see what a regular session is like. So I'm going to be giving away some 30-minute sessions. And I'm not going to do it on that day, but I'm going to announce how you sign up for the drawing on that day. All right. So next we've got Raleigh, right side, neck to shoulder, and right ear. Ouch. Pain right ear. So like, oh. So I'm hoping the healing pulse helped. But so here's the good and the bad about the healing pulse. So the healing pulse will go to where you direct it to go. And sometimes it can totally release pain or whatever it is, which is amazing. However, if there's not enough energy to also clear the root cause, it could come back. And stress is a trigger. So, say you have a pain in your knee, and with the healing pulse, all of a sudden it's better. But you have a stressful day at work, or you get mad at your kids, and all of a sudden your knee hurts. Well, it's because the healing pulse has dissipated due to the stress. And so that's a sign you've got deeper issues to heal to help your knee, if that makes sense. So let's see what we can do with Raleigh. I think I really do want to do the brain balancing. Does anybody know, or does anybody remember me doing brain balancing for them in one of their shows? It's a pretty easy process, and it's sort of a nice thing to do. So I used to have a gal who was a teacher, and she worked with some women that were rather catty to her. And so every morning before work, and she didn't like going to work, and she felt like they sort of verbally attacked her. So she would drive to work, and in the parking lot, she would do brain balancing because it helped her stay calmer and she felt more articulate. So we'll do that because it's a quick and easy thing that you can all do. All right. So someone's going to have to help me with. So Raleigh, I'm getting uneasy around 19. So 18, 19, 20. There was something going on that made you feel really uncomfortable. And the positive that we're going to instill in you is judicious, which so when I think of judicious, I think of fair and more honorable. So usually I'm able to link the trapped emotion to what we're instilling. But can someone tell me what judicious means to you, or if you want to look it up for me? So in the meantime, I'm going to release uneasy for Raleigh. And then we're going to instill judicious. I think it's more of a sense of fairness. So I wonder, did something happen? Justice, exactly. So I'm wondering, at 19 with Raleigh, did something happen where it wasn't quite fair? And so I'm wondering if we instill judicious, good judgment, if that will help ease that uneasy feeling. Okay, so I've got Shelly and Miriam left. So Shelly's got chronic pain, lower lumbar. So I'm hoping that the healing pulse has helped Shelly a bit. But let's see what else we can do to help. So thank you for that little vocabulary. All right, so Shelly, I'm getting malicious. Let me get an age. Almost there. Okay. So with Shelley, I'm getting malicious around 23. So 22, 23, 24. Something happened that was rather nasty. And so we're going to release that because that having this takes away you from trusting when you should, makes you more suspicious. And so we're going to release that, but then we're going to add you being receptive. So I think part of it is when you have something bad happen to you, it almost can block your intuition because the fear and the negative thoughts sort of take over. And so what I hope once we release malicious is that you allow yourself to be receptive to good things. Not ignoring intuition, but allowing your intuitions. So releasing malicious. Okay. All right, so I've got one left. So I've got Miriam left. If you put your information in chat and I did not say your name, please retype it up for me just because sometimes the chat went a little fast and sometimes I was trying to move to the next person. So Miriam's got moles and dark spots on her abdomen. She's wondering if it's related to other issues and possibly toxic. So let me give my little disclaimer. I am not a doctor. So when I check into toxic, I don't get toxic. But with any suspicious moles or spots, it doesn't hurt to have your doctor check them out. And so you're asking related to other issues. Currently, I'm getting no. But I wonder if you've done any work with castor oil and have like a castor oil pack. So with it, I mean, it's sort of messy. When I use it, it's quite sticky. So like if it's a small patch, I will put like a little piece of cotton ball, and then I'll put a Band-Aid over it and I'll let it sit there for 6 to 12 hours and then I'll keep replacing it. But there's lots on YouTube about castor oil. So Miriam, I think you should check that out and just see. Oh, Harmonious. If you posted a request, please repost it. Was that for me or was that a side conversation? So you're welcome, but I'm going to check and see if there's a reason, an energetic, emotional reason for that. I do get yes. So let's do this too. And in the meantime, I think look for castor oil. Like my little dog Dexter, I realized he had like a lump on his tummy. And I think it's just one of those fatty lipomas. So we're going to try castor oil because I bought like a little kit with a castor oil pack so I could strap it around his little body and see if he'll let it stay there. Oh, thank you, Harmonious. Yes, there's so much cool stuff going on. So let's see. All right, Miriam, let's find out that negative trapped emotion. So I'm getting the energy of unsettled. I'm getting an age. And then I'm going to get the positive. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so Miriam, I'm getting the energy of unsettled around age 38. So 37, 38, 39, something in there. So, and this was enough of a negative event that it became trapped. So I'm getting the energy of influential to replace it with. So it makes me wonder if something about this event around 38 made you so unsettled that you've held back from sharing your knowledge and your wisdom and your heart. And what if releasing that energy of being unsettled helps you help someone else because you have the knowledge and the influence that you can help somebody? So let's release unsettled. And then we're going to replace it with the energy of being influential. Oh, Dexter's coming. Come here, Dexter. Come here. Come and say hi. Yes, so this is Dexter. So he's got a lump like right here on his tummy. Huh. Yes, you do. I know you don't like me touching it. So, but good little boy. Although he's sort of cold, so he's got his coat on. Oh, thank you, Empatha. There's a lot of cool things out there. And I think especially with the political climates, my favorite thing is RFK. I am so hoping that more and more things come out. I mean, he's already started with like, seems like smaller things that I don't really notice, but I'm really hoping our food gets better, because there's so much junk and garbage and poison in our food. But we're going to talk about brain balancing. So I talked a little bit about why you want to do it, and like one of my clients who used it on a pretty regular basis. So basically, we're sending energy to the left and right brain hemispheres. We're widening and strengthening the neural pathways between. And so with this, you can use healing pulse energy if you want. Although, as I say, with the other work, I do want you to get used to using your own energies too. But I want you to start by rubbing your hands together. And then we'll do aura strengthening right after this. And then I want you to do 2 fingers. And so you are going to go sort of push through your hair directly above each ear, sort of parallel to your third eye. So it's about an inch or inch and a half above your ears. And so I want you to pick a hand and then imagine that hand is collecting your healing pulse energies or your personal healing frequencies. And just imagine that hand filling up. So fill it up. And when you feel that hand get full, I want you to start releasing it and sending it to your other hand. And so, like for me, and so the first few times it goes a little slow because you're building those neural pathways and strengthening them. So, like right now, it's like behind my eye, and now it's halfway, and it's behind the other eye, and now it's exiting. So, I'm going to collect the energy in my other hand, and so I'm collecting and collecting and collecting. And then when that hand gets full, I want you to start sending it back. So it's still going to go a little slow because it hasn't gone in this direction yet. So like right now it's behind my eye. It's halfway through. It's behind the other eye. And it's on its way out. And so I'm collecting. Okay, my hand's getting full. Okay, so I'm starting to send. So this is going to go quicker. So like right now it's halfway. Okay, it's starting to exit, so I'm collecting. Okay, my hand is full. So I'm going to start sending back. So it's halfway. It's starting to exit already. And if I'm going too fast, you know the steps. Just go slower. That's okay. And at first, when I started doing this, I didn't feel it at all. I can't remember where I learned this, but I've sort of played around with it too. And so I'm collecting energies in my other hand. And so now that I've been through a few times, it's going to be like laser pointer quick. So just imagine back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And just imagine that the neural pathways, especially between the left and right brain hemispheres, are widening and strengthening. And there is just such an ease of flow between your thoughts and your body. Okay. So that was brain balancing. What did you think of that? All right. I'm just going to go through and just make sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh, and I missed Heidi. Oh, sorry, Heidi. Hope you're still here. There we go. Busy city. Fearful. My living situations. Okay. All right. Thank you for reposting, Heidi. And Harmonious. Thank you for mentioning that too. I'm going to go through because I did miss a few comments. Yep, there's a group that I missed. So Rose Petals talks about using castor oil on face and body. Millie Sanford has a channel on Insta and TikTok. So is she a person that uses castor oil or natural healing, Rose Petals? Oh, Empatha. So I put it in my belly button too, and then usually I put a Band-Aid over it if I don't want to wear my castor oil pack, because sometimes I just don't like to. Because it can be messy on your sheets. All right, so let me get my book back here. All right, so Heidi, fearful living situation. That. Let's see if there's anything we can do to help you be less fearful. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody else. And Shelley shared marriage, dealt with physical and emotional abuse. Yes, I got out, but I had trust issues for a very long time. Trusting is a lot better. Thank you. Yes, and that's what came up was related to Shelley's situation. Heidi, I'm glad you like brain balancing. So I'm hoping it helps you. Marie Claire says that was great. Heidi is still here, so good. And Father says brain balancing was super cool. Mona Smith. Miriam's awesome technique. All right, Rose Petals. She follows Patricia from Australia. Okay. Yeah, every once in a while I've got little quick tips because I've been doing healing stuff since 2010. So I started learning in 2009 and started doing clients in 2010. Okay, let's see what we can help with Heidi. Oh, thanks for sharing that, Rose Petals. Oh, I gotta get one more sheet. Yeah, there's a lot of good healers out there. Okay, Heidi, I'm getting the energy of something sort of awful. Let me just see. It's defiled. And I think I know what that means, but I don't think I've ever used that word ever before. Defiled means to spoil something or someone, making it less beautiful or pure, often through contamination or violation. Can refer to both physical and moral corruption. Oh. Heidi, if that's true, I'm so sorry. I'm getting this around 24, so 23, 24, 25 defiled. So we're going to release that. And it has really affected your sense of trust. And so we're going to instill within you trusting. So help me release defiled, Heidi. If you're a healer, release it. Or if you're not really a healer, just say a prayer, make a wish that it lets go, this energy. And then we're going to instill trusting. Ooh, we're really late tonight. But I've found since I've added the positive energies and emotions, it takes a lot longer. Plus, I sort of chit-chat more because it's more interesting figuring out the story. But that's okay. All right. So for those of you left, should we do the aura strengthening? So with the aura strengthening, the wonderful thing about it is it helps repel negativity and it helps you feel better. So for aura strengthening, I want you to rub your hands together and then start beaming energy out to the edge of your aura. And your aura is probably very far away, or who knows, maybe it's right here. But imagine that your aura is getting stronger and thicker and more protective. And as usual, I suggest adding a hint of reflectivity. You don't want to go full mirror because there are some people that will not see you and will run into you. And especially if you're driving, you don't want that. And then as you're getting into the vibe of sending out, I also want to think about, what do I need today? So I think lately I need a little bit more joy and abundance in my life. So inside my aura, in my bubble, I'm going to imagine that it's full of joy and unconditional abundance and love. And so just fill that up. Fill that up. All right. So that was a little short aura strengthening. Oh, and then Heidi says 2023 and 2024, sister pup lost her home, had to move. Oh, that sounds really intense, Heidi. I'm hoping you can overcome and feel better about things. So if anyone wants to sign up for a session or a free consultation, my website is at the bottom of the screen. So it's the initial C, csummerjones.com. And I've got sessions. Most of my sessions are actually through Zoom. Or if you want a free consultation, feel free to book that there. Or if you appreciated tonight, buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/healingbysummer. But I really appreciate you all being here. I hope to see people on May 17th. If not then, on June 1st. But I hope that healing helped you tonight and that you have a good couple weeks before I see you again. So have a good night. Bye.